Chapter 46. She is the key grooming subject of the company. The word dear shocked him a little, but glancing at Lisa's voracious gaze, he returned to his natural self. All because of money. This Lisa, could she not demonstrate some humility? I'm serious. I wouldn't disclose a single individual even if you committed arson or murder. After all, we're in the same boat, aren't we? Lisa said excitedly. James glanced at her. I feel like strangling someone to death, but because of laws and ethics, I can't. Huh? You can't be that violent. Who makes you want to do that? His gaze devoured her whole body. No matter how dumb Lisa was, she quickly understood. It was her. She recognized that her existence had impeded him and Emily from being together, but there was no reason to have such nasty thoughts toward her. James, why are you in such a hurry to kill me when there's no point? Think about it. If you kill me, it'll be irreversible and you'll become a criminal. If we live happily now, I'll get to take my own road and you'll go yours in a few years. Then you can be with your Miss Emily happily ever after. Isn't that better? There's no need to go through all that trouble, right? James took a deep breath and looked in front of him to let the chauffeur know to crank up the pace. If he continued conversing with Lisa in this little space much longer, her foolishness might drive him mad. Upon reaching home, James hurriedly stepped out of the car. He watched as Lisa struggled to get out while the driver swiftly rolled out her wheelchair. He shook his head and pushed himself to calm down as he walked back to help her into the wheelchair. Later that night, Lisa sat in her bed glancing at her phone and reading the news that was already reporting on Olivia's engagement celebration. From I. The report, the party seemed beautiful and enviable. Lisa read the comments underneath, with many expressing how beautiful Olivia looked and how handsome her husband was. She sighed and clicked off the comments. Lying down, she checked her Weibo. It was always crowded with conversation, so Lisa moved off the topic. However, she happened across the current Weibo discussion, which was exceptionally long and energetic. She opened it to see the interaction. Began with a post writing. Although I do not think you deserve our Nathan, he likes you. So as you feathers, we will give you our blessings. Everybody knew that Nathan's fans dubbed themselves you feathers. Lisa was puzzled. What did it indicate that he liked her? Another comment followed. Are they really together? Congratulations. Please treat our Nathan well. He is really pure and hardworking. Please don't hurt him. As Lisa read on, she realized that something was not right. Just then, Hannah called her. As soon as Lisa picked up, she heard Hannah say, Lisa, what's going on? You're together with Nathan? Who's together with who? Lisa had no notion what had happening. Nathan just posted on Weibo. You didn't notice it? Of course, Lisa did not know. Everybody is going crazy. Look at what he said. It seems like he has declared his relationship with you and told everyone to leave you alone. Lisa said. Let me take a look. She hurriedly hung up and checked Nathan's Weibo. There, she saw a long message that was posted, barely a few minutes ago. He remarked, From the beginning until now, I've always worked hard and gave my all. I was terrified to disappoint my following, my company, and all my friends and family who have supported me. There was never a moment when I was living for myself, but now I aspire to live for myself. As such, I hope you all will support us. Lisa promptly started reading the comments that followed. Some people who joined in the hot subject stated, Poor Nathan, let's all support him. Seeing Nathan suffer like this breaks my heart. Regardless of your decision, I will always trust and support you. Celebrities are human too. They need isolation. We merely take note of your job, and as long as you're good, it doesn't matter who you choose to be with. We will always support you. Lisa felt like she was going wild. Chapter 46. She is the key grooming subject of the company. The word dear shocked him a little, but glancing at Lisa's voracious gaze, he returned to his natural self, all because of money. This Lisa, could she not demonstrate some humility? I'm serious. I wouldn't disclose a single individual even if you committed arson or murder. After all, we're in the same boat, aren't we? Lisa said excitedly. James glanced at her. I feel like strangling someone to death, but because of laws and ethics, I can't. Huh? You can't be that violent. Who makes you want to do that? His gaze devoured her whole body. No matter how dumb Lisa was, she quickly understood. It was her. She recognized that her existence had impeded him and Emily from being together. But there was no reason to have such nasty thoughts toward her. James, why are you in such a hurry to kill me when there's no point? Think about it. If you kill me, it'll be irreversible and you'll become a criminal. If we live happily now, I'll get to take my own road and you'll go yours in a few years. Then you can be with your Miss Emily happily ever after. Isn't that better? There's no need to go through all that trouble, right? James took a deep breath and looked in front of him to let the chauffeur know to crank up the pace. If he continued conversing with Lisa in this little space much longer, her foolishness might drive him mad. Upon reaching home, James hurriedly stepped out of the car. He watched as Lisa struggled to get out while the driver swiftly rolled out her wheelchair. He shook his head and pushed himself to calm down as he walked back to help her into the wheelchair. Later that night, Lisa sat in her bed glancing at her phone and reading the news that was already reporting on Olivia's engagement celebration. From the report, the party seemed beautiful and enviable. Lisa read the comments underneath, with many expressing how beautiful Olivia looked and how handsome her husband was. She sighed and clicked off the comments. Lying down, she checked her Weibo. It was always crowded with conversation, so Lisa moved off the topic. However, she happened across the current Weibo discussion, which was exceptionally long and energetic. She opened it to see the interaction began with a post writing, "Although I do not think you deserve our Nathan, he likes you. So as you feathers, we will give you our blessings." Everybody knew that Nathan's fans dubbed themselves you feathers. Lisa was puzzled. What did it indicate that he liked her? Another comment followed, "Are they really together? Congratulations. Please treat our Nathan well. He is really pure and hardworking. Please don't hurt him." As Lisa read on, she realized that something was not right. Just then, Hannah called her. As soon as Lisa picked up, she heard Hannah say, "Lisa, what's going on? You're together with Nathan? Who's together with who?" Lisa had no notion what had happening. Nathan just posted on Weibo. You didn't notice it? Of course Lisa did not know. Everybody is going crazy. Look at what he said. It seems like he has declared his relationship with you and told everyone to leave you alone. Lisa said. Let me take a look. She hurriedly hung up and checked Nathan's Weibo. There, she saw a long message that was posted. Barely a few minutes ago, he remarked, "From the beginning until now, I've always worked hard and gave my all. I was terrified to disappoint my following, my company, and all my friends and family who have supported me. There was never a moment when I was living for myself. But now, I aspire to live for myself. As such, I hope you all will support us. Lisa." Promptly started reading the comments that followed. Some people who joined in the hot subject stated, "Poor Nathan, let's all support him. Seeing Nathan suffer like this breaks my heart. Regardless of your decision, I will always trust and support you. Celebrities are human too. They need isolation. We merely take note of your job, and as long as you're good, it doesn't matter who you choose to be with. We will always support you." Lisa felt like she was going wild. Oh, it's simply a typical Weibo post, just an expression of my feelings to evoke some sympathy, Nathan said nonchalantly and sat down. Lisa rose up and screamed her voice at Nathan. You, is that the normal you? Didn't you watch the news?" "I did." He raised his head and peered up at Lisa, who seemed like she was going to burst with rage. He thought it was cute. Just as she thought, he actually did do this on purpose. Nathan commented helplessly. "You know how reporters love imagining things? I can't help it. Look, I didn't even mention your name, and still they developed a connection to you. I never expressed anything about a relationship, and yet they thought of that too. What can I do?" Lisa stared at Nathan's thoughtless face. She wanted to rip his mouth out. Yes, he did not identify her name and he didn't overtly declare a relationship, but that Weibo tweet was so evident. He would be lying if he stated it was not purposeful. In any case, you need to delete that. "Weibo post?" Lisa demanded. Nathan smiled and leaned against her chair. "All right. Then I will say that Lisa does not want us to be mistaken, so I will be deleting that post." Get lost. Is that not it? You. Lisa was speechless. She was quite irritated at Nathan, but she just could not win against him. Who said Nathan was cool? He was plainly a pesky little person. At the same time, Ryan was still clueless of the news between his wife and someone else. Emily called Ryan up in the morning. She wanted to see him. Ryan appeared at Emily's door. Emily glanced at him wistfully. With anguish in her eyes, Ryan asked, "What's wrong?" Emily said, "Why haven't I heard from you for 2 days?" Ryan said, "I accompanied Lisa back to her home for an engagement party." "What?" Emily fumed. "You've been ignoring me because of her?" Ryan could hear the hate that Emily felt against Lisa in her speech. His brows furrowed. He stated, in a disappointed tone, "Emily, this is not her fault. I had to marry, and because of me, she was forced into this marriage as well." Emily's heart hurt as she gazed at Ryan. She understood that she was being irritated and had said some nasty things. She puckered her lips, grasped at his sleeves, and mumbled, "But I don't like her at all." Ryan recognized it was natural for her to have such feelings. He said, "I know that, but I just want to say that this is all my fault. Don't blame her." Emily's lips clenched as she glanced at him. "I don't like it even more when you keep speaking up for her." Ryan, I'm just so lonely. When I'm alone, I think of how you and she are together, formally married and living. The life we've always desired. Living together calmly and pleasantly. Do you know how I feel? I can't help but imagine things. Ryan felt agony in his heart. Emily said, "From the moment you were sick, we stuck together. But your family never approved of us. It's a lot of load on me, you know?" Ryan knew that she went through a lot for him. Emily's tears poured down her cheeks as she continued, "Can you accompany me to the villa for a walk?" Ryan sighed. "All right." The two of them drove to the villa along the river. This was Ryan's villa. The stunning scenery and wooden villa provided a pleasant appearance. Emily arrived feeling much better. She slipped off her coat as she watched Ryan gather wood outside for the fireplace. Breathing in the aroma of the wood, mingled with a movie, this was pure delight. Emily glanced at Ryan, who was on one knee preparing the wood with great concentration, the muscles on his arms flexing sexily. She could not stop staring. Chapter 48. I need to go back and settle. This Nathan looked up to see Emily lying there seductively. He did not think much of it. After all, they grew up playing together. They were all too familiar with each other. It was only that Emily's chest seemed to be exceptionally high as she lay there, resembling a hill. It seemed enormous, yet odd. He had not noticed previously, but he suddenly thought of Lisa's statements. Fake chests are easy to tell. It will continue standing high even when one lies down. When did Emily do her chest? He could not recall her mentioning it. Actually, Nathan was not against women having cosmetic surgery. As long as she enjoyed it, he did not care. The search of beauty was human nature. However, he never heard Emily talk about it. He was intrigued and questioned Emily. "Emily, when did you have cosmetic surgery?" Emily swiftly elevated her chest, unnaturally looking at it until she touched her chin. She did got a couple places done. Cosmetic surgery was becoming so regular, but she simply did not want Nathan to know. She silently went for it. After each occasion, she grasped the opportunity to go overseas for a bit and returned after recovering. A man like Nathan, who was too absorbed with work, never noticed such things. Naturally, he never asked questions like those till now. I didn't. Why did you suddenly ask?" Nathan glanced at her and felt like he could not look anymore. Nothing. Just asking. She looked down at her chest and thought that it should look natural. Of course, she went to the most costly place with the best resources and best doctor. Those C-cups were not affordable. Not expecting Nathan to be able to tell, she grinned and added, "My body is all natural. I have not done anything to it. You must believe that it's too perfect. That's why you believed I had surgery, right?" Nathan grinned as he didn't sure what to say. "Yes, your body is nice," Emily said. "But of course, I normally pay care to my physique." I perform loads of yoga and retain it wonderfully. Everybody says my skin is flawless. My body is perfect thanks to my mother, who was a beauty. I look like her, so I'm lovely as well. Don't you agree that I'm beautiful? Nathan glanced at her face and grinned. Yes, you are beautiful. However, he looked at her face and thought that it was peculiar. If she looked like her mother, she should have single eyelids. Her eyes would not be so large, and her double eyelids would not be so noticeable. More importantly, her chin was too pointed. Her mother was a famous round-faced beauty. But Nathan kept his ideas to himself. Looking at Emily, her skin was definitely lovely. But Lisa's skin was substantially fairer and softer. Somehow the image of Lisa's flawless skin emerged in his thoughts. She actually was fairer than most other women. Perhaps because she was so white, her face did not look unusually stunning. However, staring at her was like looking at a porcelain doll. She looked delicate. Nathan, I'm talking. To you, what are you thinking about? Emily shouted and sat up unhappily. Nathan got up and said, Nothing. I was thinking that you didn't have to put up so much effort. I like you not because you're slim, but because regardless of how you appear, you will always be beautiful. Still remembered how when they were tiny, she staggered over to him in her little princess dress and mumbled to him, Brother Nathan, nobody wants to play with you. I will play with you. From that moment, he told himself that he had to treat her. Well, it was only that looking at Emily now, he could not help but feel that Lisa was right. She must have done something to her chest. However, Emily not only refused to confess it, she even lied to him. Nathan learned that everyone has their own beauty ideas. Perhaps she did not tell him so that she might feel her body was all natural and a God's gift, but Nathan would not have minded any of it. He was mainly concerned with the notion that Emily would genuinely lie to him. However, he did not reveal her. He assumed that she had her own reasons. He grinned and said nothing else. He finished setting up the fireplace, but because of the weather, it did not burn much. They could only appreciate the sense of it. The two of them sat on the sofa. Nathan turned on the television and took the controller. Just as he decided to shift to a movie, he saw the news play out on screen. After Ethan hinted at a relationship, there were no further comments from the crew. The management has also made it harder to pry. Ethan has never been rumored with another female actress, hence everyone is anticipating this romance with optimism. The television displayed an image of Ethan and Lisa together. Emily immediately recognized Ethan. What's going on? Why is Ethan fooling around with Lisa? Those statements made Nathan's face go utterly gloomy. Emily saw his face and thought that he was sad. She threw additional weight in her tone. This Lisa is too unscrupulous. How can she get together with your brother? How shameless. Nathan said, This has nothing to do with Lisa. Emily listened and replied gently, It takes two hands to clap. How could that have nothing to do with her? I believe Lisa is not like this, he stated emphatically. Emily sneered. You believe her? That is incredibly naive of you. I have seen too many uncultured chicks like her. They would do anything for money. What's more is that she's in the entertainment industry. Enough. Nathan got up from his seat. Emily was taken aback. Immediately, she followed Nathan and rose up angrily, choking back her tears as she exclaimed, You yelled at me, Nathan. You yelled at me for this woman? Nathan halted and glanced at Emily. It's not because of her. Ethan is also in the entertainment sector, and he's also not that kind of person. There must be a reason to this whole matter. Nathan got up and decided not to stay any longer. He took his coat and declared, I'm going to settle this matter. You're going now, Emily observed regrettably. You said you would keep me company. Nathan said, Emily, this news will cause a lot of trouble if people see it. It's best I hurry and take care of it. Emily gritted her teeth. He was right. She banged her foot on the ground. I don't care. You must make it up to me. I hardly get to be with you, and now you're leaving. Nathan sighed. He was in no mood to amuse her. He smirked patronizingly and continued, Okay, I definitely will make it up to you. Emily forced a grin, but deep down, all she wanted to do was squish that irritating Lisa to death. Chapter 49. We can use a more direct method. James soon arrived home. Ryan was already at the door. Upon seeing James return, he replied softly, "Sir, it all started with Nathan's Weibo post. Although he did not announce it openly, the news speculates that Nathan was... James turned around. Was what? Was confessing to Lisa. He had to be joking. That was ridiculous. James's face darkened. His brows crumpled like crinkled clothing. Flesh curled into hills and hills. James saw that there were several comments underneath Nathan's Weibo post. I think they look quite good together after a while. If they're together, so be it. This Lisa looks rather pleasant to the eyes. At least she appears distinct from the regular renowned individuals. Not bad. As long as Nathan decided, we approve. Congratulations on being together. Last long. James turned off his phone and peered up, his expression as dismal as a stormy sky. It sent off a vibe so terrible that no one dared to look directly at him. Sir, I thought you guys stopped all news about Nathan. Ryan felt cold sweat on his back. Sir, we did. It's only that this is the first time that Nathan has announced a relationship. Hence, certain tabloids continued. Relationship? James scowled coldly. Ryan understood that he had stated the improper thing and promptly remedied himself. Of course, the reporters don't know that Nathan was only joking. James raised his hand to silence him. He pressed his brows and then walked in. Lisa had no idea what was going on. She had just gotten back from the set, mentally and physically fatigued. She prepared some fast noodles to comfort her wounded soul. She was just done when she heard the door. James was home. Lisa was carrying an enormous bowl of noodles, looking extremely content with herself. She wore a tiny yellow apron with lace at the sides. It looked cute and mirrored the warm smile on her little, delicate face. James, you're back, she grinned as she put down her noodles that were practically scorching her fingers. She pressed her fingers to her earlobes to chill them off. James glanced across to the dish of noodles and answered, I'm hungry too. Oh? Lisa spotted his face and asked, Shall I cook you a bowl too? Yes, okay, he said, as he carelessly laid down the coat in his hand and sat down. Lisa pouted. How unceremonious. She returned to the kitchen and grabbed up the veggie knife. She sliced some vegetables, ham, and broken egg. James stared at her and realized that there were some wonderful times with her. In a normal household, the husband usually waited at the table while his wife prepared in the kitchen, and fragrance permeated the air. Lisa carried both bowls to the dining table. James looked at them and questioned, Why does your bowl have more noodles and vegetables than mine? Lisa responded, It's not that much more. Without hesitating, James reached over for her bowl and snatched it. I'm eating yours. Hey! Lisa wanted to stop him, but he had already started eating her noodles. Lisa could only glance down at her fingers. I ate a bite of those noodles. James glanced up at her earnestly. Lisa felt uneasy with his stare. She hastily waved her hands and said, Why? It's not like I made you eat it. You were picky. James went for her dish and drank a huge gulp. Hey, James, all things should be fair between husband and wife, right? James justified his argument. Lisa stated depressingly, I'm not mean like you. It's not like I did it. On purpose. James lifted his head and snorted. Lisa's eyes moved. She grinned widely and added, It's just exchanging saliva. You eat mine, and I eat yours. It's no big thing, right? James's face darkened. How could a remark like that feel so warm? Lisa remarked, In fact, exchanging saliva actually has health benefits. It boosts the immune system and prevents catching a cold. Come on, let's continue. James groaned and stared at Lisa. If that's the case, there's an even more direct method of exchanging saliva. This is quite troublesome. Huh? Lisa glanced at him, perplexed. His dark eyes traveled to her gorgeous lips that were glistening in the light. Lisa felt it. She finally grasped what he meant. Her face went crimson. She covered it with her hands. She was speechless. James glanced at her, standing fiercely over there, unable to take back her words. He grinned happily. However, his sight could not quit, staring at her lips. Feeling her staring at him, he pushed himself to look elsewhere. Lisa snorted and sat down. James questioned while he ate. "Lisa, have you nothing to say to me?" Seeing how she was still in the mood to cook noodles, his heart began to burn up. Lisa replied, "Like what?" James pulled his face. "Like maybe something about tabloids and rumors." Lisa answered, "Ah, about that. It's simply a rumor. I don't know what to do either. Do you want to tell Nathan about us? So that Nathan has issues with the family. If he knew, he might just tell it to the whole world. Do you want everyone to know about us?" "Ah, of course not." Lisa shook her head furiously. Was she mad? To announce her marriage with James at this time? The news out there was already overpowering. How would she be able to continue acting? James gazed at her face, plagued with hate. Although he wanted to resist, he could not help but start to feel melancholy. "Do you not want people to know about us so badly?" he inquired. Lisa said, "Of course. We'll get divorced sooner or later. Then it'll be my second marriage. Also, I still want to act. The company does not know that I'm married. My contract states that I cannot marry for 3 years. I'm already breaching it." James looked at her earnestly and then bowed his head, picking at his noodles. James commented, "Although you don't want to expose our relationship, you shouldn't overdo the rumors with Nathan, right? This, I guarantee you. I honestly know nothing about it. This." She also had no understanding why Nathan was foolish enough to make a Weibo comment like that. She felt that Nathan was a rebellious child. With no rumors and under the stringent control of the corporation, he decided to generate some rumors himself. It was all Nathan's doing. "It has nothing to do with me." She could only say so much. James said, "I know he is rebellious, but he is never unreasonable. If you tell him honestly that you don't like it, he will respect your opinion." I did, but he refused to delete his Weibo post. Lisa had virtually begged him to remove it. Nathan only proceeded to poke fun at her and not take her request seriously. James said, "You have to reject him directly. Don't let him harass you. If you don't know how to accomplish it, let me help you." "Huh?" He said, "Give me your phone. I'll help you send him a text." With a frigid face, he held out his hand. Chapter 50. Did you fall in love at first sight with me? Lisa stared at his solemn demeanor. Maybe it was so unbearable for him that he was going to get really agitated. She took out her phone and looked at it, still not quite wanting to hand it over to him. James did not say anything and took her phone. "Hey, what are you doing?" Lisa asked seriously. She was unhappy that he took her phone simply like that. Lisa hurriedly snatched it back and said, "I don't have his number. We've only been messaging using WeChat." She got her phone, entered the WeChat app, and stated, "I can text him myself." As she stated this, she worried over what to type. "Nathan, I don't think it's right of you to dupe your audience. Your Weibo post is overly misleading. Your followers think that you're in love, yet that's not accurate at all. I think it's best that you tell the truth." James glared while she typed. 1 second she halted, and the next moment she was all serious, deleting, typing, and hesitating. He impatiently took her phone to look. "Hey, what are you doing?" she questioned as he arched his brows at her message. "This is a rejection? You're having a discussion with him." James glanced at her. "Well..." Lisa did not want to come out too forcefully. If she insulted Nathan, she would not know what the future held for her. James snorted and said, "I'm going to help you write. You..." Lisa recognized that he would not do it kindly, so she hastily took her phone. James rose up tall and hoisted the phone up high with his arms. The tiny Lisa sprang up and down, attempting to grab for it. James stood there quietly and rapidly typed, "Nathan, I'm actually already married. I adore my hubby very lot. Your deeds make me feel like I have let him down. So please don't post such information that may easily mislead people and spread rumors. It is for the good of both of us." Lisa saw him write a long paragraph, but it was so fuzzy that she couldn't make the words out. Lisa was nervous and pleaded, "James, give it back. I want to do it myself. I don't need your help." James did not listen and continued typing, furiously. As soon as James hit send, a reply arrived from Nathan. It read, "Are you seriously lying about being married just to avoid me?" James's lips screwed up. "Do you want me to show you the certificate? I'm honestly married, and it absolutely disgusts me that you would get me involved." Disgusted? In what way am I not being nice that it makes you dislike me? I thought you informed me before that I was your highly respected senior? She had actually told Nathan that? James could not help but sigh as he replied, "Those words were just to compliment you. I assumed you would understand. Since you choose to draw me into this mess, don't tell me you actually like me. Now that you mention it, I do quite like you." James almost wanted to puke. This Nathan was certainly asking for a death wish. James directly said, "Sorry, I don't like your type. I enjoy my husband's type. A man who makes me feel secure. From the minute I saw him, it was love at first sight. I had to marry him. I have no interest in anyone else and definitely not your gigolo type." He had just sent the message when Lisa climbed atop the table behind him. Her arms tightened around his neck as she got onto his back and sought to get her phone back. "James, give me my phone back!" she shouted and grabbed his hand. James was not finished. He wanted to see what Nathan's reply would be, but he realized that Lisa had been so frightened. She bit his arm. Pain filled James. This blasted foolish woman really bit him. He shouted and released the phone in his fingers. It crashed on the floor with a loud thud. Lisa shrieked, "James, I'm going to kill you!" James felt that she was about to tumble. Remembering that her leg was barely healing, he hurriedly held on to both of them from behind. She had recently finished using the wheelchair, but she had to walk lightly. Had she already forgotten the pain? He held her on his back and refused to let her move. "You better be careful. What's going to happen if you fell?" Lisa was too busy rummaging around for her phone to listen to him. She did not know that her gold and silver necklace was grinding on his back. He felt her delicate bosom press against his body. So obvious. "James, don't move. Calm down." James's body grew hot. He felt himself tightening up. "No, I don't want to." "James, you had no right to steal my phone and drop it." "You must pay for it," she demanded. Even though she had her arms around his neck, he could not help but feel his body shake. Only then did they realize. She was leaning on him, his hands firmly supporting her butt and his shoulders tense. Her chest was pushed against his back and her face brushed against his cheek. She was just beside his ear and she could smell the clear, masculine perfume from his neck. She suddenly let go and coughed awkwardly. She did not mean to do that. James ultimately let her depart as well. She stood on the ground, too hesitant to look at him in the eye. James felt better. His heart, which was originally racing, finally slowed down. He stared at the woman in front of him. He truly felt like strangling her. Naturally, Lisa felt humiliated. She could still feel the warmth of his body. It was extremely hot and so different from ladies. It was lingering. She suddenly remembered her phone that dropped on the ground. She hurriedly snatched it up and inspected it. The screen had fallen apart. She looked up, distraught, and screamed, "James, you'll pay for this!" James gazed at her indifferently and snorted while glancing at the television. She accessed her WeChat to receive a message from Nathan. "I'm sorry, I didn't know I was such an annoyance to you. I won't disturb you anymore." The next sentence read, "And I'm not a gigolo." Lisa was almost to tears. She scrolled up to read all the texts that James had sent. She turned to him and said, "James, I'm not shameless like you. I did not fall in love at first sight with you. Why else did you drug me then? Was it not to get in bed with me?" Lisa did not know what to say. Lisa just worried about how she must have offended Nathan. What was she going to do about the next filming set or the promotions for the show? Not to mention, Nathan's influencing power was immense. If he desired to seek punishment, how was Lisa going to live? In the future?